Hello, welcome to TechShammeth. In this session, we will discuss about a process through which we can utilize the do for loop in CL program. So here I have created one program for the same, and do for loop is also used for it for like repeating some lines of code again and again for a specific condition. There are multiple ways to do looping in CL program, like we have discussed about do while loop, and today we are discussing about do for loop. Okay, and there is one more loop concept which is do until, that we will cover in upcoming session. So for do for loop, what you need to do, you have to firstly you have to declare one variable. So make sure that whenever you are declaring a variable for do for loop, it should be only of integer type or unsigned integer type. Okay, so here on line number 10 I have declared one variable which is named as count. It is of type numeric and integer, and the length of this variable is 2. Now from line number 15 we are using one do for loop. So first of all I will write some command here. So if you want to start a do for loop, you have to simply write do for, then take F4. So once you take F4, you will came to this screen. Here you have to the first field is for the label. If you want to put some label for your loop, then you can keep it here. Otherwise you can, this is optional field. Then we have second field for CL variable name. So like here you have to pass that variable name on the basis of which you want to iterate the loop. Okay, so let's say I want to iterate my loop for my count variable on the basis of my count variable, so I will pass it here. Then in from value you have to put the starting index of your loop. So let's say I want to start my loop from 1, so I will keep it here 1, and the 2 value is the end of your loop. So if you want to end your loop on 20, so you can pass it here as 20. Then we have another parameter as by value. So this is also an optional parameter. If you didn't specify this, then by default it will take as 1, and it will increment the loop one by one. But if you want to iterate your loop for some specific condition, then you have to pass that value here. After that we have another field which is for comment. So if you want to put some comment here along with these lines of code, then you can pass it here. Okay, so I hope it is clear now. Now I'm deleting this because we have already declared one condition, so I will explain that to you. So here on line number 15 I'm taking F4. So here we are using count variable, and the starting loop value will be 1, ending will be 10, and it will increment one by one. Okay, so inside loop what we are doing, we are displaying the message using snd pgm msg command, and here inside that I'm using %char built-in function to convert my numeric value to character. Otherwise we will not be able to display it on screen. So I'm just for converting the numeric value to character, I'm using *char. This is a built-in function, and also we will cover all the built-in function which is related to CL. But for now you can just understand like this is mainly for the type conversion. And then we are printing the value which is count. So whenever the count value incremented, it will be displayed here in the loop. And then on line number 17 we are doing the end do. So this is the block, and inside this whatever the things are written, it will be repeated for this condition. Okay, so let's try to compile and see whether we are getting the correct output or not. So I'm calling it. So at the bottom you can see the value is 1, and here is one plus icon. It means we can page down for more values. So I'm doing page down 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. So on 10th value you can observe like here we are not the plus is not indicating here. It means this is the last value. If I do page down here, it will show one message that last record in the file. So it means we are incrementing the loop from 1 to 10, and it is populating the value correctly. Now suppose if I remove this by parameter, then it should also work. So I have removed it and I'm calling it. So yeah, still it is working. Why? Because by default value is always 1. So it is incrementing by 1. Now suppose there is one condition where we want to increment the loop but for specific interval of time or number, then what we can do, we can take F4 and here in this by value you can pass that value. So let's say I want to increment it by 5 and hit enter. So now I will compile it and this time the loop will be incremented by 5. So calling it, first value is printed 1, page down, then directly it prints 6, and on page down it is not showing any value because if it will fail inside the condition for loop, like because we have set the maximum values as 10, so that's why it is not showing the further value, but it is incrementing by 5 from 1 to, and then it shows 6, and for next value it is not showing anything because the maximum value was 10, and once it reaches to 10 it will terminate the loop and came out of the loop. So this is how we can utilize this do for loop, and it is very useful concept because for looping, for using the loop condition, we can easily use this do for loop. And do while we have already covered, and in the upcoming session we will discuss few more things. So thank you for watching Texture Myth.